Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newest member of the LEMMO family. It's the LEMMO Max. The LEMMO founder gave me an update about the strategy of LEMMO, and it's quite interesting because in 2025 there are going to be very interesting news. There will be in total 4 new editions. The core edition is the LEMMO MK2, and I'll link you to our review, but there will be new editions or maybe ranges, and they are called the Urban Edition. There will be limited edition, and this is a member of the Cross Edition. And there are some features and news that you can see, like the suspension fork. You definitely see that the tires are different and the design was a bit updated. There are some very beautiful yellow details. But for who is this bike and how does it feel to cycle this beauty? Let's find out. The Max is indeed the maximum of joy and the maximum of power, because the 56 Newton meters of torque in the rear hub are too much if you just cycle in the city. But if your commute is maybe longer and you do have like hills and really steep inclines up to 10%, then this bike is a really, really good alternative, because it combines a commuter bike, so all the advantages the LEMMO offers, in combination with features that you would need if you live maybe not in the city, or if you really like maybe on the weekend go into the nature with the bike. Because the suspension fork is really working well in combination with the suspension in the seat post. And the motor is really thick. So every now and then here in the city I was choosing the pedal assistance level number 1, and it's just you just touch the pedal slightly and you get all the support. So that actually is very typical for LEMMO, because also the LEMMO 1 MK2, they all do have a torque sensor, and a torque sensor measures how hard you push the pedal, and that gives you like the amount of support. So it's like riding a regular bike, or it feels like a regular bike, but of course with support. But very typical for LEMMO is that even in the first level of pedal assistance, the motor is so strong. So I rather love to exercise or just have in the first level of pedal assistance not so much support, so maybe just when I stand at the red light to have a bit more support. But with LEMMO you always get like the full power. And all my male cyclists that detest the LEMMO, or my friends who own a LEMMO, they all love it. But I mean, due to the concept that the LEMMO has like this dual concept, that you do get a bike plus E, because you can completely detach the motor from the bike. Therefore you get like 2 bikes in one. So you have a manual bike as well as an e-bike. Maybe therefore it's totally okay that you get all the support even in the first level of pedal assistance. But in combination with the Shimano Deore gearing system, it's very well balanced. It works really well, and that's very important in my opinion when you do cycle the manual bike or the e-bike. So you can go even faster than 25 kilometers, especially when you go downhill or when you maybe have an incline and you really want to exercise. Like the first and the second gear work also really well when you drive slower. Also maybe if you do some off-road trails. So for me, quite interesting that LEMMO is now approaching different target groups. So like if you commute a lot, but if you do not live in the city, or if you live in the city but do want to do longer tours that include hills or steep inclines, then the Max is absolutely super interesting. What I really like is of course the design. I always want to ride in style, and LEMMO is really one of the most beautiful bicycles, because one of the founders and the CEO, his heritage is not in the bike business, but he comes from the design and architectural world, and you see that. I mean, the bike looks as if it's just one piece because it's a very special way of manufacturing the bicycle. Also typical for LEMMO is the stealth tech. And stealth tech means you don't see the magic happening. For example, the seat post suspension is hidden within the seat post, and the two buttons you do have on your handlebars. The left one is the bell, and the right one you can choose the different modes of pedal assistance. You can hardly see them, and you see that the cables are integrated into the handlebars, and therefore the cockpit looks very clean and very chic. So that's definitely something that I highly appreciate. So all those different stealth tech features that make this bike even more beautiful. And there are even more super smart features. For example, the Smart Pack has all the IoT and it has a GPS tracking device. So you always see where your bike is located, and all the magic concerning smartness is happening in the Smart Pack. Also pretty cool because if you do have some trouble with the bike, you can easily swap the Smart Pack if you contact LEMMO. And maybe the second component that is made by LEMMO is the motor and the rear hub. And in addition to the GPS tracker in the Smart Pack, you do have a chip, a Find My chip, so you can track your bicycle because the chip is located in the frame. In combination with the LEMMO app that is working really well, it's very intuitive. You have all the information you need about your rides, you can switch on and off the lights, and of course you do have a navigation system. And super cool, what I really love, if you do need your mobile phone, because you know I don't love mobile phone holders. I just think they're ugly and they ruin the design of every e-bike. But not in this case, because you do have an integrated one and it fits for every mobile, for every model. And that's definitely a solution that I really appreciate. And due to the fact that the Smart Pack can easily be removed, you do have like the perfect flexibility concerning the charging. And of course, you can use the Smart Pack as a power bank. The tires are a bit broader and also very special for this e-bike. They are a bit knobby. So if you cycle over gravel, what I'm doing at the moment, and even over some grass, what I'm doing now, it definitely gives you more grip. So it's definitely more suitable if you cycle over different terrains. So this bike is compliant with the German law. So the lights in the front and in the back meet the German regulations, as well as the reflectors that come with the bike, but I haven't installed them because I like the bike for the review to be very clean and very chic. But the bike is indeed a complete package. So if you do live in Germany, don't worry. LEMMO equips you with everything you need. Super, super, super important. If you do have a rocket like this one, of course, are the brakes. And those hydraulic disc brakes work really well. I mean, super important because the motor is so strong, and if you cycle every now and then even downhill, you need brakes that give you the feeling and to be super safe and secure, and of course work really well. There is one typical feature in every LEMMO bike that I've tested so far, is the turbo feature. So when you press the button that usually changes the different modes of pedal assistance, if you press it a bit longer, then you have the turbo, and there's also a T in the display, and it gives you immediately all the power the motor has to offer. That's quite handy if you're standing at the red light and it turns green, and of course if you do have a very steep incline and you need this little extra. The suspension fork is also a quality component. It's from SRAM with a 40mm stroke, and of course you can lock it. Also a quality component are the wider tires, as I already mentioned, but they are from Continental and they are the Terra Trail. So whenever you do not cycle over concrete, definitely absolutely perfect. I mean, I was testing it when it was still snowing, and it was absolutely okay. It was much better than my regular urban bikes. The rear rack offers you up to 20 kilograms of capacity on each side. So in total you can carry approximately 24 kilograms. That's quite cool because then you can do, for example, your groceries. So there's definitely more capacity than just maybe carrying around your laptop and your notebook. The bike in total weighs 21 kilograms, which is quite heavy. But I mean, if you compare it to bicycles in the same range, they all weigh like between 19 and maybe even 25 kilograms. Maybe to give you a little insight, the Smart Pack itself weighs 3 kilograms. So if you decide to cycle without the motor and without the Smart Pack, this bike weighs 18 kilograms. Still not super light, but maybe an extra little effort, an extra little exercise. But yeah, just to give you a hint. The LEMMO Max costs 3,490 euros, which is not cheap, of course, but if you do consider that it's a very special bicycle, not only like the design and all the features, but the smartness and the quality components, then I would say it's absolutely a fair price. I compared it to other bikes in this range or other bikes that offer the same features and the same quality components, then I would say the price is absolutely okay. So I think it's quite interesting that LEMMO is offering a wider range and more additions for different use cases. And I'm pretty sure that, because I see it in the comments on my YouTube channel, that a lot of people do not live like in the city and have other ways they have to conquer like every single day. And so this whole package of being very flexible for longer rides and very versatile rides, the LEMMO Max can be a really cool companion, and it's a very nice addition in the LEMMO family. And if you did like this video, this review, give us a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment. What do you think about the bicycle? Do you like it? Thumbs up or rather not? And subscribe to our channel. I would highly appreciate that.